How are you feeling about lockdown at the moment?
I mean, it's definitely different because you have to do everything from home, and like it's all online, and it's like different. I mean, it's not necessarily bad, but it's definitely different.
Not as difficult as I would to do if I didn't have an allotment, but yeah, a lockdown's okay. It's just the difficulty I find is working from home. After working in an office, I find that part of it's the worst. Most stressful part of it actually is actually trying to work at home. So the stuff around it, I'm kind of coping with okay. But it's easier.
For me personally, it's been pretty good actually. It hasn't really affected me much at all.
I think it's really difficult balancing work and home and homeschooling and everything. So we're finding it really hard to just keep everything going, keeping the rhythm going and keeping the motivation going. So I think it's hard, but I think it's necessary.
Got a lot of stuff in. I've got organic vegetables coming every 2 weeks, which is a lifesaver.
Social side is gone, the golf and the bridge.
Like, we managed to get ahead of everything before, like, the actual lockdown, like before we couldn't go out like only once a day. So I think, and also we have like the space we can go to. We have a garden. We're lucky.
Haven't lost any work, haven't lost my job, but just basically working from home. I mean, I've watched other people that I work with being put on furlough, so it has affected my workplace, but it hasn't affected me personally because unfortunately there's nothing I can do all my job at home.
Well, I've got no work. I'm a musician, self-employed musician, and so I've got all the gigs for the year have gone, including up to September, and the work that I do is kind of zero contract. I don't know whether I'll get anything. I won't get anything for the self-employed because it's not the main part of my income. The main part is zero contract, and I don't know whether I'll get anything.
My granddaughter had her 6th birthday the other day, so we all got together and we had a cake in the house, so we brought the cake in front of the camera, and then all the grandchildren all over the place were singing happy birthday. So it's I think with new technology it's quite manageable. My wife does a lot of yoga, so she hasn't been able to go to her yoga, but she does it on Zoom. She has the yoga teacher and there's a group of them.
How do you feel life will be like after lockdown?
I think it's going to be, oh God, who knows?
I think it'll be chaotic. Like everyone's going to be stuck inside for so long that everyone will just want to go outside, like go to that restaurant, or like everyone will want to do the same thing. So I think it would be a bit like...
You think there'll be a big bang start?
Yeah, like...
I think it'll be slow.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah.
I think they'll slowly release us, do little things, allow little things.
I don't think people will manage that. Like once the lockdown is lifted, I think people will take advantage of it. Oh, we can go out again.
I think a lot of people will also think we've done this for however long, 2 months, 3 months, let's not ruin it by misbehaving. So we will see.
Personally, I think it's completely going to change. I hope it completely changes society, really, because I think during lockdown it's become apparent that like our society, parts of it just don't work. The example would be they've had to renationalise the train companies for 6 months, and also it's kind of uneven. Companies which are meant to be entrepreneurial free market companies like Virgin are applying for government grants, and I think the free market it shows its complete limitations in times like this. I don't think it's very good about caring for people. I don't think it can actually support people. So I hope it does cause a sea change in society, and people realise that actually we do need a proper health service. We do need to have proper safety nets in society to support people. So whether that will happen is like another issue, but it feels a bit like it's not the same as the Second World War, but there's elements of that about that. There's elements like that. It feels like a real like existential kind of crisis for the kind of country. That's what it's, or for the world for that matter. So hopefully it will change things, but I won't be certain.
Oh God, it's going to be the economy is just going to be rubbish, and it's the poor people that will pay, and same old.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to go on for. I mean, if it finishes fairly soon, like at the end of May, I think it'll be manageable. But if it keeps going, I think people are actually going to get a bit fed up with it. And particularly people living in small flats with families, who can't get out. I mean, that's it's unreasonable. Closing the parks, I thought was outrageous. Because often the people who go to the parks are the people who don't have any garden themselves, or don't have a lot of space. So I thought that was sort of giving them a double dose of punishment, really, by closing the parks.
I guess the sort of people waving to each other and speaking to the neighbours, and that it's kind of. I imagine it'll just disappear again as soon as we come out again.
How do you find like social distancing and that kind of way of life, and how it affects people, that kind of walking around in the world we're in at the moment?
Well, I can manage it quite well. It's a bit weird, I have to say. Staying like we're getting a bit close, yeah. But most people observe it. I think if you're walking on the pavement, people will move out of your way and all that kind of thing. So I think people are being very good, actually. The only problem is in shops, because it's very difficult to stay 2 meters away from people in shops.
It's quite difficult, just getting here, on the pavements, because people like yesterday, just somebody came right close passing and then coughed just to sing him, kind of, okay, right, yeah. But I'm not concerned for myself, but I'm looking after an elderly relative. And
the things I actually find most sad is like I sat on Hampstead Heath Extension not for very long yesterday, but we were looking out. Sorry, Parliament Hill Fields. I was on Parliament Hill Fields. I was looking out across the city, and my workplace is at Waterloo, and I saw like London Eye, like kind of sparkling in the sun, and I found it quite surreal because that's where my workplace is, and I know that kind of place intimately, and the idea that actually at the moment I can't actually go there. I find that quite strange. I felt quite sad, and I do miss Central London. I do miss going. So I suppose that's the story.
I think it tests your inner resources. If you like, I can go quite a long time without socialising if I need to, because I've got lots of interests and reading and all sort of stuff. But so I think it does put you to a bit of a test. I think relationships probably go through a bit of a test. Either I think it brings them closer, or it drives them apart. So maybe it's a good test of a relationship. If you can survive this, you're in a good one.
I think we don't exercise as much, and we are obviously much more living in each other's pockets, so it's affected us. I think it's good in one sense. We're sort of finding ways of being closer as a family, but also finding each other more annoying than usual. I think it's difficult, for example, he's a puppy, and we can't do any of the things you do with a puppy, socializing and training, so I think that will, in the long run, be difficult to deal with. What else have we? Susanna's right. We managed to get quite a lot of things sorted before the full lockdown, because my son has asthma, so we took him out of school the week before the rest of the country did. So it's been good that way. We've been organized, but but no, it's not been easy.
I think we have it easier than most people.
We have it easier. Thank God we have a garden.
And you can work from home.
And I can work from home. And my husband and I, our jobs are secure in all of this, so we're not worrying about if we're going to be fired.
There's weird things about this situation as well. There's a lot. I've actually enjoyed parts of this kind of life where actually, you're kind of limited in what you can do, and it's actually meant that, but I've done things like painting that haven't done for years, and I've read books that I haven't wanted to read for years. And I find it a pain going to the supermarket and having to queue and watching people fight over toilet rolls is probably the most depressing experience of my life. But on the other side of it, there's been a good cultural kind of side to it.
Forcing me to come up here has been the biggest positive, actually. I've been able to really sort stuff out up here, because normally it's a battle between me and nature nature tends to be on the winning side most of the time. But I feel I'm just, I'm in sight of victory, I think, as a result of it. And people phone you a lot more. That's another thing. So you have a lot of chats as well. I mean, people ring and they say, "Yeah, well, normally you're never at home, but because of this, I know I can get you. You can chat. So.
There's no excuses now.
And then looking up people who you haven't seen for ages. You just say, "Oh, I wonder how Barry is. I wonder if he's coping. We haven't talked to him for 2 years. All that kind of thing. So there's a bit of that going on.
Yeah, people look after themselves, and looking after themselves at the moment means being community minded.
The UK has managed it quite well, I think. Even though the lockdown came in later, I think, because isn't it we're starting to be the curve, right? It's the end of the curve.
Supposedly, yes, flattening.
The curve's flattening. So I think that we managed that, which was the aim.
Yeah, I think there's more respect for the NHS, more respect for the people who are putting themselves at risk for all of us. On a personal note, I think it's learning more about how we work as a family and how we live, and just little things like being more frugal and careful with what we buy, with our food, eating leftovers, and trying to take pleasure in the little things like going for a walk in the evening, which I hope we keep doing.